Hey, we're live, and time for that intro song. And welcome to Seasons, a TV podcast. New podcast that relives your favorite TV shows one season at a time.
What you talking about, Will?
Hey, how you doing?
That's what she said.
Oh, have mercy.
Suit up.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Can I do that?
Part of the Geek Pro Network. All right. Welcome to Seasons, a TV podcast where we talk about and review your favorite TV shows one season at a time. This season of the podcast seasons is we're going to do Superstore. And this episode is we're going to be talking and reviewing season 2 of Superstore. I am Nary Science. With me today is Missy.
Hi.
Hi, what up, girl? We are recording. We went down from a 4-panel episode to a 2 panelist episode. And
I was just Batman and Robin.
That's right. I'll be your Robin any day, baby. Any day. Anyways, so we're gonna be talking about season 2 of our favorite big box store TV show.
I think it's the only one.
By default, that would be.
Just sounded like Glenn a little bit. You know what? I have to say that I'm really excited that I'm doing this seasons because it gave me a chance to rewatch this show. And
but do you like rewatching shows that you've already seen?
Okay, with the violence. For those of you that don't know, reruns aren't like my thing. So much so that I am like super late on almost every show. But this one, I can honestly say I was not late on. I started watching it from the jump, episode weekly by weekly. And so, old school style. But I hadn't seen any of these episodes in so long. And it's just 5 years. Like season 2 of Superstore was only 5 years ago, and it feels like a lot longer. Like a lot has happened.
So, briefly recap: we did episode 1. We talked about season 1, and I was on there as well as my wife Vanessa and Stephanie. Stephanie did not like the show, or she didn't think it was funny. At least is what she said about season 1. And we're getting into season 2 now. Before we do that, take a quick recap of the season of what season 2 says. It says second season of Superstore was ordered on February 23rd, 2016. And on May 15th, NBC announced that Superstore will be moving to Thursdays, which is a big deal in the comedy world landscape, the TV comedy landscape. 8 p.m. time slot, which is like that's leading the prime time programming for the
that was Friends time slot, Seinfeld, Parks and Rec, like all the big ones.
Cheers, all the big ones. The season premiered on September 22nd, 2016 and ended on May 4th, 2017. And on September 23rd, which is a day after it started airing, NBC gave the series a full season order of 21 episodes. So that's pretty cool. It says that the show follows a group of employees working at Cloud9, a fictional big box store in St. Louis, Missouri. The ensemble and supporting cast features America Ferrara, Ben Fieldman, Lauren Ash, Colton Dunn, Nico Santos, Nicole Bloom, and Mark McKinney. So pretty cool. All right. So basically, I usually start off with, or I've been starting off with, is like, your 60-second thought on season 2, but you've already given that because.
No.
Yeah, you said I love the fact that I'll get to rewatch it, and yeah. So this is your rewatch, right? Correct?
Yes.
How many times? Is this the first rewatch?
Yes, this is my first rewatch. So a lot of this felt like brand new information, even though I was watching it and I'm like, oh, I bet next. And it's not that I can tell the future. I'm sorry to say. It's just that it was my memory kicking in. But yeah, I really enjoyed this rewatch. I'm enjoying the rewatch. Period.
This is my first rewatch as well, but the first time I watched this season was April. So if you didn't hear the previous episode, just know that I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of the show when it aired, and then it just never caught my attention. I was like, it's fine, whatever, moved on. life happened, and then 6 years later, I get COVID and I'm in quarantine, and I'm like, what to watch? What to watch? And I watch Superstore, and I breezed through all 6 seasons or 5 seasons, 6 seasons,
6.
6 seasons within a week, and I actually ended the last episode of the show. I watched it 2 days after it aired. I had caught up,
That quickly.
which
Well,
is what I
you
like
had
to
a lot
do.
of time.
Which is what I like to do with my TV shows. As Missy will tell you, I don't like watching live week to week. I think that's dumb. I think that's for people living in 1987 that only had like
Listen,
I saw a meme earlier this week
wait.
that reminded me of that. He's like, you think you had it tough, and you think your kids now have it tough. In my day, when we missed an episode of a TV show, we missed it forever. Like it was
Not
gone.
true. You can rewatch in the summer.
Not every show.
No?
That's not accurate. No, no.
Well, maybe that's just my luck then.
If you miss an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, good luck. Oh wait, that one.
I don't think that's the kind of show you need to watch weekly though. Like that's not you don't miss any plot.
What happened to Shredder? Anyway,
Anyway.
So yeah, give your 60-second review of the season 2 of your thoughts and about thoughts and prayers for season 2.
Not thoughts and prayers, just thoughts. I really enjoyed this rewatch. I am enjoying, well, I already said I'm enjoying the rewatch in general, but I think this season did a great job of a lot of character development, a lot of humor. The gags that are going to carry us through the entire series were just 10 out of 10. It was really easy for me to pick out all my favorites, that I had, that we're supposed to pull for the podcast. And I love this cast. I love the journey. I loved it. So 10 out of 10 would
10
recommend.
out of 10.
10 out of
Yeah,
10.
this is a show. I said on the first episode, I said that this is a show that I honestly believe every season gets better than the previous season.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a backslide. I don't think there's even with shows that I love, I can't always say that. With Parks and Rec comes to mind. Like I can't always say that every season gets better than the previous one, but this one I can. But it was 6 seasons, I guess.
Well, I think I will say that this show, it's easy to start on season 2. Like if season 1 hadn't happened, I know that season 1 typically for any show they're trying to find their footing and they're trying to find like their niche. But I think that it's fair to say that with this show, if you started with season 2, you'd be fine. I don't recommend it obviously because there's lots of buildup. So
I don't know, man. There's a lot to. I like what I do like about season 1 is that it gives us the world. It tells us who everybody is.
World building. Yeah.
I think that's helpful to us. I don't like you and I have that same logic and theology when it comes to The Office. We're like, just skip season 1, you're fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's the case in this show. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying like people who jump into season 2 are like, what's going on? Like you'll be able to catch up.
To catch on, yeah.
But I do think that that it's helpful. And especially with the main characters of Jonah specifically, you can see his growth from season 1 to season 2 as a human being.
Yeah. This show was just really, really great about character development. And I don't really think that there's anyone that's, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the framework of the order we're supposed to go in, but I think that there's certain characters that you're going to grow to love, but I don't really think that there's any unlikable characters. Do you?
Well, in season 2 specifically?
Yes.
No, not season 2. Season 1, it took me a bit to get to be cool with Mateo.
Okay.
Just because like I didn't like the sass that we get to know and love in season 2. I think season 1 was necessary because he's like a tough pill to swallow until you get to like,
because he's being like the nemesis or whatever.
Correct. And it's self-imposed. It's he's
yeah.
He acknowledges that it's like,
he's
and then
just trying to like outshine Jonah, and
because they happened to start on the same
on the
day.
same
All it
day.
was. That's all it was.
But I think
And
what's
we forget that throughout the rest of the season, throughout the rest of the series, that these two started on the same day.
but
forget to.
I think what happens in season 2 is that in terms of character development, Mateo goes through a lot of development because of the Jeff
Yeah,
storyline
that definitely.
and the
No, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that.
what?
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, it has. It happens in season 2.
Well, not what I'm thinking about, but go ahead. The big reveal, the big thing doesn't. Okay, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If I'm wrong, you can edit it out. But I was gonna bring up the immigration thing.
Right, but okay, I'm not. It's just the big thing about. It's fine. Go ahead.
I don't know what big thing you're talking about. I was just gonna
Oh,
say
I
that
love the fact that you honestly forgot. That's hilarious.
I don't know what you're talking about. So let's find out.
So therefore you forgot. But that will happen in season 4. It's fine. It's fine.
No, that's not what I was. Okay. Anyway, what I was trying to say 5 minutes ago is that the the character development for Mateo in season 2 has a lot to do with the Jeff storyline and the beginning of the buildup of the immigration, his immigration issues, which I think was just a very poignant and topical plot to work into the show at large. So I commend the writers and the creators, and Nico Santos does just a great job of playing Mateo. I can't think of anyone else that could play that character like him. So we see a lot, but the first episode,
Rainn Wilson.
the first episode that so the season starts. Well, what's counted as the season starting is an episode that aired in August.
Yeah, this is a weird season for that. Yeah, for that purpose.
So wait. So I just want to reiterate that this is, let's travel back in time, listeners and viewers, to 2016, where tensions were high and a lot was happening. We'll just say that much. And the seasons officially starts off with the Olympics episode that aired in August, but then the next episode didn't air until a month later. So technically, yes, it is the season premiere, but like it's a standalone episode.
Yes.
And one of the things that I really enjoyed about that episode was me like live action realizing, I'm like, hey, that's an Olympian. And then like I just started realizing that the gag for the episode was that the Olympians were doing cameos, which I thought was fucking brilliant. Also, one of the funnier things, like this is a show that makes me laugh out loud, and not a lot, like I find a lot of shows that are funny but not a lot like make me laugh out loud. And when Cheyenne is convinced that she wants to go back to gymnastics and she's practicing on the bars, and then she fucking face plants because she's trying to swing her legs, and then she can't because of the baby, and she just that was really funny. And then one of the funnier lines of the season, because I haven't stopped thinking about it, was when Glenn is in the break room and he's trying to rally everyone about being patriotic, and that just kind of bringing that subplot along.
That's great when he's like, we're number one at what? At being the best.
At being the best.
What are you the best at?
Like that elitist kind of thing that we're indoctrinated in, some of us.
It's ingrained in our head. Like, you number one.
Like, for what though? Like, why are you? And then when he's trying to rally the troops, and then he's like, even you, Sandra. And Sandra goes, I'm from Hawaii. And he goes, not today, you're not.
You're American.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah, I agree. It confused me because as somebody who binged it, I was like, wait, season 1 ended with Cheyenne having her baby.
Yes.
So like to me, Cheyenne had her baby, and then 30 seconds later she was pregnant again, and I was like, what the fuck? So I watched like 5 minutes of it and go, wait, what's going on now? So on Hulu it says season 2 episode 1.
Yeah.
But when you go to IMDb, it says
it's
season
0.
2, episode 0, and I'm like, the moment I saw that, I'm like, it makes sense.
Yeah, and
I got it.
I guess it was a promotional. That was the last, because the Olympics were supposed to be last summer, but they had it this summer, right? But they still
Oh,
called
I
it the
just
2020
no,
Olympics.
no. It was just like a month. It was just like they delayed it by like a month or two or something. It was supposed to start at the beginning of the summer, and then it started in August.
Right, but what I'm saying is that they had it August of this year, but it was supposed to be last year.
Was it?
Yes, every 4 years, 6 plus 4 is 20. 16 plus 4 is 20. And then they still called it the
Or-
2020 Olympics this
Really?
year.
Is that what
Yes.
happened? I look. I didn't watch the
BFF,
Olympics.
where you
BFF. I
been,
didn't. I
homie?
didn't watch the Olympics. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I
Neither do I, but I
don't
knew that.
give a fuck about
I
the very few. I'll be honest. Look, 2020 was a tough year, and
what?
2021 was like I thought they delayed it by only by a few months.
No, friend. They deleted it a whole year and then they still called it the 2020 Olympics. But my point is that it was a promotional episode for that summer and they did a great job, lots of laughs, but it was a little confusing because when you're binging it on the Peacock app, the when it goes to the second but really first episode of the season, it does that recap thing and you're like, right, that's where the fuck it left off. Like, I don't know, it was just a weird kind of like 10-second head trip, but good times were had.
I'm trying. Yeah, you're right. 2020 Olympics were held from July 23rd to August 8th,
It's just
2021.
in 2021. Yeah. But anyway,
God, I'm so look. I'm laughing at two things. One, the fact that they actually did that. How stupid is that? And two, the fact that I just noticed at the end of September
to be fair, you
because
had a
somebody else told
baby.
me. Because somebody else told me. It wasn't even like, oh, like, oh, I was like, oh, okay.
I almost thought that you were like, oh, because everything, like maybe it's the same thing that I go through where time means nothing. So my brain is like the concept of time is melted.
Well,
So like
that's pretty.
what
I mean, that's part of it.
what
Yeah.
happened last month could have been last year, and I would have no argument against it. But you actually were you were right now
Yeah,
years old.
yeah. I mean, that's part of it. Part of it is like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't, I'm not, I don't know what the time and schedule. Who gives a shit? Like, to me, it wasn't, I don't know.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
I fucked up. Yeah.
no, you didn't fuck up. You just, you had other stuff going on, like you're being a dad and a husband and trying to find work, all of that shit. It's
Well,
been a good year.
the dad part, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. He's joking. Okay. So what was your thought of the beginning of the season? Do you think it was a strong start?
All right, so let's go. I have some notes here, and what I did for season 1 is I wrote notes on every episode because there was only 13 episodes, so I could do that. And then what I did this season, I decided to write notes on only the ones that made me laugh, the moments that made me laugh, and the episodes that stood out to me. With that said, let's see here, season 2. Season 2. So the Olympics episode, I enjoyed the Olympics episode. I enjoyed the girl who played an Olympian who's not actually an Olympian.
Cicely Strong.
I guess, yeah. She's in a million things.
Most famous for SNL.
Yes, that is correct. Every time I see her, I go, where the fuck do I know her from? SNL. And then I look her up, and I also SNL.
She does the bit. She has a lot of great bits, but the one that stand out to me is the drunk girl at a party. That's just every time she hits a home run.
So season 1, that's a pretty big episode in the sense of that's where Mateo finds out that he's not a citizen.
Correct.
And that's where he finds out. And then this is a good moment too when Glenn says, I thought the Olympic rings were just symbols. I didn't realize they symbolize anything.
Wait, the other thing that made me laugh so hard for this episode was when they're doing like the anything is possible and make all your dreams come true. And then they turn to Garrett and they're like, if Garrett wanted to walk, he could walk. And he just looks at you like, what the fuck are you talking
No,
about?
and he goes, I never thought about putting it on a card before. I never tried that. And then he
He's
tried,
so
and he
he's
writes
such
it
a
down, and he goes, nope, still not.
he's such a good shitster. Like I love him so much.
I mean, I love all these characters, and we'll get into who your favorite character is later. But man, fucking Garrett is so fucking
Garrett
good.
is just, and Garrett has the same thing. I'm sure it's an acting choice or just I don't know what it is, but I see in him the same thing that I see in you. When you're getting ready to fuck with somebody, you get that little twinkle. Yeah, I've said this before. And this motherfucker, I don't know that if he's like an acting choice or just the guy, what the fuck it is, but every time he's going in to fucking stir the shit, like you see it in his eyes, the joy that this fucking guy has.
So can I just tell you? I was about to say I don't want to sound like conceited, but I really see a lot of myself in Garrett. I was about to say that.
I have
And
to
then you
agree
started talking,
with
I'll
you.
let her finish whatever she's gonna say because I'm gonna fucking come up with it. And then
I
but that's really what I'm-
I
yeah.
100% agree with you, which is
But I feel bad saying that because there's been multiple times later on during the show where he will tell somebody and other cast members will acknowledge, yeah, he's the cool guy. So I don't want to be like self-proclaimed, like, hey, I see a lot of myself in the cool character.
I focused on being the shitster. I didn't say anything about
but
being
that's
cool.
No, but that's what makes him the cool guy, is the fact that he's the Ann Perkins in the sense of like he sees everybody's craziness, but he also fucks with them. He doesn't just sit back and be like, oh, that's crazy. He fucking stirs the pot like, oh yeah, I guess we solved fucking gender equality. Like that's an episode of season 3, but you get what I'm saying.
But what I think that makes him cool is that he just doesn't fucking give a shit. Like the vignettes when he's talking into the microphone are just always so
that's the job
great.
that I would want if I had to have a job
I think anybody would want that job.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you're still not on board, so
just sitting and just talking shit into a fucking loud ass, like it's just so good. But yeah, I think it was also very weird. This is like not related to the store or I mean to the show or anything relevant, but I don't hear my name very often. I know you can relate, BFF. I don't hear my name.
Every TV show has a character named Neri. Like, oh
I
my
never
God.
hear my name in TV shows. So when Cicely Strong's name is Missy and they keep saying Missy, I was like, stop it. Like, what is that? That's not.
Are you revolutionary third wall breaking?
I'm like, that's not me, guys.
I know people confuse me with an
yeah, I know I look exactly like Cicely Strong and we're just as talented. Not. But yeah, that was a great jump to the but a lot happens in one season, or am I crazy?
No, a lot happens. See episode 2, the line that stuck out to me in episode 2 was when she said, I took a horse bath in the bathroom. And that is so fucking funny to me. I had never heard it that way. I've heard it with racial. I've heard that about basically taking a shower, like just washing the important parts, your underarms, your armpits. I've heard that as racial epithets, like, oh, I've taken a insert minority group here bath.
Okay.
Before, but I've never heard it called I've taken a horse bath, and to me it makes so much more sense.
You've never heard it like that before?
I'll be real, I've heard it being called, and this is all through movies, and for the most part movies and shit, I've heard it being called like, oh, I took a Puerto Rican bath, I took a this and bath, I took a, whatever, insert poor people here bath, whatever. And I was always like, I understood what it meant, you know what I mean, because when you're poor, that's what it, but when they said took a horse bath, I'm like, oh, that does make sense.
Yeah,
that makes better sense. Yeah. I laughed. I fucking thought it was hilarious.
I think it's all an awful way to just say you're freshening up important parts of your body, but I think a horse bath is an upgrade to the other shit.
Well, I think so too, because horror doesn't specify anything about financial status.
It's a blanket statement.
It's not a class statement. It's not a class. It's not a.
It doesn't mean you're poor. It doesn't mean you're white. Doesn't mean you're black. It doesn't mean you're Hispanic. It just means you like to fuck, and you probably get paid for it.
Well, that's exactly what a whore means. A slut is just fucking. A whore fucks and gets paid to fuck.
I know, but sometimes they call you a whore when you're not when you're a slut, or vice versa. Anyway, we're getting
Most
into the
people are-
nuances. We're getting into the nuances of things.
Episode 3, Mattel beating the bird in a bag. Holy fuck. The birds episode. And then Mattel gets the bird and she says, take care of it. And he goes, you want to take care of it? And she goes, yeah, take care of it. And he goes, okay. And then, the fact that they're having a meaningful conversation about birds. I learned a lot about myself today. You're
Garrett
right.
and Dina are
Dina
having
and-
a
Dina and
meaningful.
Garrett,
It's
yeah.
a wide shot of them having a moment, and in the background, it's Mateo fucking murdering a bird
Slamming
violently.
the bird violently, like it's a bag of ice. Like, oh, it's like you just went to the fucking farm store and bought a bag of ice, and now it's all frozen solid together. So you need to break up the ice, and you're just slamming that fucking bag of bird.
Oh my
And then when
gosh!
she said, I'm gonna go let this bird out, and when you just hear her off camera, oh my god, bag of blood. Oh, fucking gold,
So
just
funny.
gold. Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was fantastic.
The thing that I like about the next episode, which is the Guns, Pills, and Birds episode, is that it takes a lot of controversial. What you think of gun control and the morning after pill, and you're like, how are you going to make comedy out of that? How could you possibly? And then here comes Superstore and was like,
Oh my beer.
hold my beer. Because just a quick recap for this episode, Jonah gets assigned to the
Episode
gun.
3, by the way.
Yes, episode 3. Or 4, depending on what you're looking at. But Jonah gets assigned to the gun counter, and we know this by now that he's highly against it. And so he starts turning whenever he decides that this person is too unstable to own a gun, he just turns them away. And some of the characters that are coming up to buy a gun don't necessarily give you a red flag feeling.
All of them give me a red flag feeling.
Well, I'm
Every
trying to give
single
it a benefit of the doubt. But I think the setup here is like, the other side of the making it comedy, but making Jonah look stupid, even
Right.
though that you
I
as a
think the
viewer.
comedy- yeah, I think the comedy was any one of these could be a red flag. However, it depends on how quick your trigger finger, no pun intended, for that red flag is. So
Right.
like what triggers your red flag? Is it some guy saying they're gonna pay for it at my old job that I just got fired, or is it like I'm just going on and having a good time with the boys, and it's like, oh, I refuse service.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's the comedy is that even though you as a viewer would hi Jeff, even though you as a viewer would side with Jonah, he is the butt of the joke, which I very much enjoy. That's one of the things I like about Last Man Standing, that I don't agree with Tim Allen's character, but he's still everyone else is stupid. But anyway, that's for another seasons.
Good show.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, Glenn has a meltdown about the morning after pill being sold in the pharmacy.
And he buys so much.
Buys them all, and then realizes how much they cost. Can't return them, so he's standing in the front.
I love the pharmacist is such an underrated character.
He doesn't come back, I think.
No, he
Does
does. He comes back in season 3, but in season 3 he shaves his face, and I swear to God, it threw me so off that I had to Google to see if it was the same fucking character, the same
This
actor.
happens to you often.
I know. I'm like, you changed something that from the first time I met you. No, I can't. I don't know.
That happens to you often.
That
But anyway,
character is great. He goes, I don't. You can't return medicine. I don't know if you did something to it. And he goes, but I didn't. He goes, but you could have. He's just a dick, and he refuses to return it.
he is such a dick. Who would sleep with that guy? dot.
Oh, I sent the invite to Jeff to join us, and he goes, I'm drunk right now. And I'm like, that's why we want you.
I can't be. He's never drunk on days that end with Y.
That's cray. All right. So
Who's your
all these episodes are great. I think all these episodes are fantastic. We get introduced to Jeff, right? The district manager.
yes? That
that's
moment
cool.
that he has with Mateo is super cute, and the whole bit in the next episode where Mateo's trying to prove to people that he's into him, that Jeff is into Mateo, was
He goes,
like,
"Can you go clean up the vomit."
he's like, he said he noticed me, and just fucking do it, and everyone's like,
Uh-huh. But like, yeah. And
I
I love So all of this is really cool, but to me, one of the standout episodes, and I might be circling it now. My favorite episode of the season is episode 4. If we're counting the for future reference, we're counting the Olympic episode of episode 0, because that's what IMDb does, and it makes sense story wise, continuity wise after season 1. But episode 4 is Kyle the Cloud9 killer.
No,
And
it's called Spokesman Scandal.
right, I don't care about that. I'm talking about the fucking what it has Kyle the Cloud9 mascot and how he killed 14 people. And that from the beginning, they're playing it as an I love when TV shows do make fake ads and you're like, oh, this is an ad. And you think you're watching TV. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm dumb, but it takes me a few seconds to be like, oh, this isn't an actual commercial.
Yeah, right.
This is like, and I can only imagine if I wasn't watching the streaming. Like
I
I'm
don't think
watching it.
I don't think that makes you dumb. I think that makes them very good at their jobs.
Yeah. So, but because I'm watching it on fucking Hulu, there's no commercials. I have the no commercial package, right? I'm not trying to brag, but my friend gave me her password. So
Sandra, if I didn't need your Hulu password right now, I would kill you.
I will kill you. And then, but I love that whole thing where they do the ad and then it stops tape. They do the voiceover, which is the guy
and
from
then he ate people.
and then he killed 14 people who he ended up eating. You're like, what the fuck? And the whole you think that would be like but the whole episode is basically with that story as a backdrop.
That to me is my favorite cold open from this season.
Yes. I don't even know if they're good question. I don't even know if is it still considered a cold? I guess it is as a cold opening because these are different than The Office in the sense of like The Office. The cold openings had nothing to do with the rest of the episodes, like 95% of the time.
Okay.
And on this show, on Superstore, the cold openings always have to do with the story. They always set up the rest of the story, the rest of the episode. It's not like, oh, we're never going to hear about this Cloud9 mascot guy again. Like, no, the whole episode you're hearing about this shit.
Right.
The fact that Glenn thinks like, oh, it was marijuana. It's not his fault. He was on pot.
Oh my God. I just love that. He's so like, I can't even be mad at him. See, this is the thing that all of these characters have something that you should find completely annoying and repulsive. But I don't know. There's just something about the way that they wrote this show that I can't even be pissed at anyone for any of their flaws. It's just like they just feel like friends. Like I know that some people may find Jonah obnoxious or whatever. I don't know what it says about me, but I have a lot of pretentious elitist men in my life, and I think it's something of like aversion therapy where it just doesn't bother me anymore.
I don't find him. Okay, so this is coming from a guy who, just to let you know, I did not find Ted from How I Met Your Mother pretentious. Not saying that he wasn't pretentious. I'm saying that to me, it wasn't his defining characteristic. To me, I did not. Even though the show itself at times were like, oh, Ted is pretentious, and I was like, just because you say it doesn't make it like it doesn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't his defining characteristics. Fast forward to Superstore. I don't think Jonah's is. I think that he's kind-hearted. Like he still means well. So to me, it's weird to call him pretentious because to pretentious people are, and we have friends. Everybody has friends that are pretentious and snobby and uptight. And to me, I think the bad part about pretentious is that you want to be right for the sake of being right. You want to be you want to prove that you're the smartest person in the room, and so you say shit to prove that you're the smartest person in the room for the sake of being better than other people. He's not like that. He's like he catches himself. He goes, oh, so yeah, my bad.
Yeah, he knows his problem, which he's self-aware to acknowledge that when Amy busts his balls, it's like merited, like it's for sure called for. My thing is that I don't think it's a negative personality trait. I honestly don't, and I just think that it's just how he is, and I think I credit to the fact that I have a lot of pretentious men who, whether or not they intended to have that kind of vibe, and they're still great people. Like it's not the deal. It's
Well,
not.
I'm Nary Signs is aware that
I
Nary
don't know that
Signs
you should
has.
not. You are not Dwayne the Rock Johnson. You cannot talk about yourself in the
I just
third
met you're
person.
like I have pretentious men in my life, and in my mind I was like, who the like I'm just trying to go through like the people that I know, and I'm like, and then I'm like, oh my god, I got to the end of the list. Is it me?
Am I the drama? Anyway, so but the broader point that I'm trying to make is that a lot of these characters you're like are should be unlikable, and I love them all, like
Yeah,
quirks and everything. They're just so they're and I think that's what makes them the show so great, is that it's a very relatable show. These, like, people like this, or you are that person. So um what I really enjoy about Spokesman Scandal was, I think this is the first time, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first time, and we see this a lot in the journey of their will they won't they, but that Jonah and Amy get concentrated time to just fuck around,
yeah.
and he makes her sing the Charles and George theme song in
In
English and
Spanish.
in Spanish.
Oh, so
Just,
good.
I mean, and I think that, like, and that's, this episode, what it did well, and I think all the classic episodes that you would rank, I mean, that, excuse me, that I would rank as best of, are usually involve the whole cast and equally, like, not everything is tied in with each other. So um this episode did that, and I would count this as my favorite episode of the, and it also has my favorite vignette. Am I jumping?
You're jumping a little bit, but
Okay.
I will say, the contrast between you and Stephanie when talking about season one, Stephanie said, I didn't like the fact that the show was too much of an ensemble cast, and
Well, I mean,
so
okay.
it's just interesting. It's interesting to be like, oh, I love the fact. I that's what I said. Episode one of the podcast of this season, I said, oh no, I enjoy the fact that it's a true ensemble. It's not. I think that the jokes are spread out very evenly. The funny parts go out to everybody. It's not just like these two get the funny lines, these two get the sappy lines, this
Well,
one gets off the wall. But I think it's funny.
because I think, in contrast, The Office, even though we're huge Office fans, The Office spent a lot of the beginning seasons focused on heavily on the will they won't they of Jim and Pam, and then, like, the background characters just, were fillers, were like the B or C plot. Whereas everybody takes turns in this ensemble. Everybody gets their moment to, and you would think that in the spirit of what typically hooks audiences is the will they won't they of the show. You also have Sandra, and you have the Sandra's like scary and eerily detailed account of her fake dating Jeff, which is
Oh my
just,
god.
I mean, it was like a peek into madness. Like, it felt like a comedy version of watching the Joker. Like, it's just like she's not okay. She needs to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Oh, good episode two right here. Is it the same episode we're talking about, the spokesman scandal, and Justine talking about like, oh, he was on drugs, well, unless you call alcohol, am I right? Glug, glug, glug.
Oh my
And
god. Okay,
everybody's saying, shut up, Justine, you're not an
shut up,
alcoholic. Stop
Justine.
bragging. The fact that they said stop bragging, to me, first of all, they tell her you're not an alcoholic, shut up. That's already funny. But when they said stop bragging, I'm like if alcoholism is a brag, it's like, good for you. That's fucking funny.
Well, I think Justine her character serves as Bo Burnham has a brilliant bit and song about this white woman's Instagram, and I think, like, that's a great way to summarize Justine, is that she thinks that, like, all the basic shit that you're supposed to, that makes personality, like, oh my god, wine Wednesdays and all that shit, she really adapts to their personality. It's just so fucking annoying. Still love her. So annoying. I wanted to punch her.
But I love her because she's so bad. It's so good. Like, it's so like, yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. I haven't watched the Bob. I don't know what that bit is, right? Or that song, but there is a bit that they did on Saturday Night Live where they were just at a birthday party, and it was like the first one back from quarantine, and every gift was a basic ass sign, like one of those like, oh, blessed and whatever,
Live,
blah
love,
blah.
laugh.
Yeah, yeah. And then it escalated from that to about being a drunk, like, oh, wino crossing, and then everything, it just became is like, oh, do you think you guys think I have a problem? It's like, oh man, like every like, and it was like, oh, it was all home decor, it was all basic carrying home decor, but then it escalated very quickly to all home decor about being drunk. Like, don't leave your drinks around me and shit like that. And it's like, what? Are you saying I have a problem? Like, it just kept on asking. And that's
A
how I
very
feel it
polite
is.
intervention.
And that's what I feel like Justine. Right. And at some point, they even brought out one of the signs was like, this is an intervention. You should seek help. It was like a long fucking thing. And that's what I feel Justine is. Justine is like exactly what you said. It's like, oh, she thinks it's cool to be that basic chick. Like
Right.
she's that basic. So that was a good one. But let's go out. Which is your favorite episode? Oh, the Halloween episode. This starts the Halloween episode of every year because Dina puts on a costume that spoiler alert, she will continue to wear every single Halloween for the rest of the
That's
show.
her bit.
Yeah.
It's the first time that they hook up. Her and Garrett things pops off, which is really
Right.
gross how it starts because they've been puking the whole episode, and
Black
then
Friday episode, yeah.
they start making out. No, it's not Black Friday. It's the Halloween episode. That's when she's dressed up as a cop. They hook up after that.
No. The Halloween episode is when
he starts.
attracted to her.
Yes. He's trying not to focus on her big.
Right. And that was the vegetable. That was the fruits that were the damaged fruits or the ugly fruits or whatever.
Yes. And
but
Black
the next
Friday.
episode is
Yes.
Black Friday, and that's when they hook up. Is when they are throwing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He says, "This is gonna be. It's gonna be better than 9/11." And then he says, "Harry says, what's 9/11?" And he goes, Marcus goes, "Oh, you didn't hear?"
Marcus is another one that like that guy plays
Under the radar, fucking funny, such a funny character. Yeah.
He said he plays a meathead so well, and again, I should hate him, but like Marcus is my boy. Like I can't.
Marcus is so stupid, but it's like one of those things where nobody takes him seriously. Like he is universally.
How
like
stupid is he?
when he starts chanting, every time he starts going for a chat, and nobody guys, to the listeners, to the viewers, he tries to chant multiple times throughout the season for the rest of the show, and nobody, not one fucking time, do they ever appease him. They never be like, okay, fine. Like it's so fucking
like
funny.
not even a courtesy, huh?
No, not even a courtesy. Like, yeah, let's go. He's like, fight, guys. Can you not hear me? Fight. He's like, it's better if you guys like, whatever. And then it's so fucking good, man. But yeah, he gave that line. He's like, it's gonna be worse than 9/11. And he says, what's 9? Gary goes, what's 9/11? He goes, oh, you didn't hear?
So my favorite episode is the scandal, the Cloudsman scandal.
Which episode is that? What number? I wrote down the episode the numbers and not the titles.
Spokesman scandal number 4.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the same episode. That's my favorite episode as well.
But
yeah.
I think Glenn's shining moment in this season is in the Integrity Award episode.
Mm.
Yeah, we're in the tail end which is hilarious.
Glenn's kids is another good one where he brings all his foster kids.
Glenn's kids is funny. I thought that it was like, yeah, it was funny. I had fun with that one. I thought it was weird. Like, I wish. What was the deal with the kid that wouldn't say anything? Like, was he wasn't one of his foster kids, no?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
oh,
he just couldn't leave him alone. Yeah, he couldn't leave him alone. Valentine's Day, which is the episode that Sandra comes clean as to she was never dating Jeff, and then she goes, I gotta go cancel the horse-drawn carriage. And then the horse-drawn carriage is the one that picks her up from work. Is like, it was too late. I would have lost my deposit. Like,
and she just walk the walk of shame. She plays a pathetic really well, but it's so like it's pathetic but concerning. You know what I mean? Like, you should talk to somebody about that because the detail in the length she went to keep that fucking bit going was expensive. and concerning.
And I like the fact that she dressed up as as Dina for Halloween.
Oh my god, that was so
And
funny.
she goes, I can't believe Sandra's the only one that didn't that's acting like an adult and didn't dress up. And she goes, actually, I did dress up. I dressed up as you. And then you see her name tag, it says Dina. And then the fucking face that Sandra put, she goes, "Shut up, Sandra." And then fucking Dina goes, "Shut up,
Shut up,
Sandra." She's like,
Sandra. Sandra's a little bit of the Jerry Gergich for a bit.
let me tell you,
Just
Sandra. I will say this. I will say this right now. Sandra is probably my favorite fucking character.
of the
I
whole show.
Probably. I mean, it's between Garrett and Sandra. All of them. I told you up front. I love all of them. This is not me trying to not be able to be decisive. I legitimately love all these characters for all different reasons. They're all good. They're all great. Some of them are funnier than others. I am a huge fan of Garrett, not just because he reminds me of me, but I love his sarcasm. I think it's great.
You guys go to the same
Yeah.
barber?
We go to the same barber. How it's called aisle 17 at Superstore. Where you buy the Schick razors. Am I right, Schick? Why don't you hook it up with a sponsorship? But but Sandra is such an and I think we'll talk about it more in episode 3, but season 3 she really comes into her own. But season 2 she starts already like with the whole dating thing, the fact that she has perfect memory and she could just autobiographical memory. She just knows exactly the date, what happens every time.
Relatable to you, I'm sure.
But she has that's a great bit too. When she was like, "Is there anything remarkable about you?" And he's like, "Well, my memory. I can remember everything that's ever happened in my life." And then she's like, oh, that's pathetic." And she goes, "That's the same thing you said the first time I told you."
Oh man. Yeah, this is yeah, I love this season so much. Lots of great moments. Glenn's Kids is when we meet Jonah's first girlfriend, right?
Yes, first
The
girlfriend on the
oldest,
show. Yeah,
yes,
the
of the
oldest of it.
show.
And Glenn doesn't want him to date her, but he doesn't want to be the bad guy either because then that would push his daughter away. That was a great little back and forth. In the next episode, when they had breakfast together, and he's like, "Oh, you had breakfast with my daughter?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning." And then Garrett, this is where Garrett really shines. "Wait, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning now. So where did you guys have breakfast?" And he was just like,
Garrett just keeps that
and
shit going.
he goes, "Oh, well, we went to a restaurant." And he goes, "But it's 6 o'clock, so that means what did you meet her like at 4 or something?" Like, yeah. Where did you guys go to eat at 4 o'clock in the morning? And then like that whole thing. And then Cheyenne's husband comes in like, "No, dog, they were banging."
Bo is such an obnoxious motherfucker.
Did you know
Like,
they were gonna do a spinoff? They were gonna
they,
have a Cheyenne and Bo
oh
show
really?
at
What
the end.
happened?
The God stepped in. I fucking hate
Well,
Bo. I can't stand Bo. I'm sorry, I can't. I take in small doses. I'll
I
accept
understand,
small
but
doses.
there's a potential for probably the pandemonium is what killed the spinoff.
No, even after the pandemic, there was still like when the series ended, they were still in talks, and there was like the hot buzz around town. I know this because that's when I started paying attention to the show, and they were doing interviews like, "Oh, the farewell season and blah blah blah." And then when they asked her like, "Oh, so do you have any news about what you're gonna be doing in the future?" Like they were hinting at it. Like even the interviewer, she's like, "Nothing yet. We're gonna find out soon. Nothing yet. Nothing yet." And it wasn't until but they at the last minute they were about to shoot a pilot, the whole thing, and then at the last
That would
minute,
have been a good show. I think that would have been a good show.
I love Cheyenne. Can I just tell you, her laughing when she gets nervous is so good.
Okay, so you want to jump to the tornado or not yet?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so season 2 is bookended with a massive tornado. Wait, so something just for context, along the way of the season, Amy's marriage hits a wall, and by the end of it, I think they're separated. Yeah.
Yes. So you know what's cool about this though? What I will say about this storyline about Amy's marriage is that it's not a good marriage from the beginning. Let me rephrase that. It's not a good marriage from the beginning of when we get to know her. So it's not like everything was going fine, but then Jonah fucked it up. It's not like no,
Yeah,
it was already like it wasn't a good. And the fact that they make it a point to say she got married only because she had kids, she got
well, that
pregnant.
moment at Cheyenne's wedding,
Yes.
which was also an epic wedding
Oh,
that
good.
I had forgotten.
Awful.
I had forgotten about that Cheyenne's wedding but when Bo started acting up like he was getting ready to leave her, I was like, what the fuck? And then they broke into the song and I'm like, oh, that's right. This is like a bit. But there's a moment at the end of that episode that was really great and it showed a lot of heart where Adam asks Amy like if you hadn't gotten pregnant, would you have wanted to marry me? And then she counters that with, would you have even asked?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end, yes, at the very, very end of that episode, Amy is confiding in Jonah. She's like, I think my marriage is over. And that's the first time I've ever said it out loud. And it was a very relatable moment to go back and watch because like if you're at any time that you're in a crossroads in something where you are realizing that something is over, either a job or whatever, a friendship, you typically have that intrusive thought over and over again until you actually have the balls to say it out loud. And I think that they handled that moment beautifully. I think it was a very honest, very heartfelt moment. There's no tension. Adam isn't even, you can't even hate Adam. Like he's not an asshole. He's just like
Just not right for her.
he's just not right for her.
Yeah.
And so that
And it's a really relatable thing where you go, yeah, they got pregnant when they were young. They were young in high school. And
right. How many
happened.
people
Yeah,
in the
that-
words of Michael Mercadal, the angry load is the most fertile one. So it's this shit happens. So at the end of this season, Amy is separated from Adam, and the season finale starts off pretty normal, but then takes a turn because there's a threat of a tornado. We see Garrett in the parking lot trying to gather up shopping carts when it's fucking awful weather, and you're like, Garrett, get the fuck inside. That old man keeps on going, which I love that work ethic. But then
we hear him speak.
We hear him speak. Well, a little bit because they bleep the second word. But so at the tail end of this season, the season finale, they're in the back room. Jonah and Amy got separated. They were in the pharmacy and they're by themselves. She's freaking out. He's trying to comfort her. The rest of the team is in this stock room. Cheyenne can't handle tense situations, so her way to deal with it is to fucking laugh hysterically. And it's a maniacal Cheyenne laugh, but it persists the entire time that tornado is hitting. Cut to Glenn praying to every and all deities that he could think of to help everyone survive the storm. Which is that comedy.
Kudos to the writers, man.
Just-
Kudos to that.
Just great way to
They didn't leave any character
nobody.
unfulfilled. Like it was so good. The
And
fact that Garrett realizes that he caught feelings for Dina, even though it was supposed to be a strictly physical thing, and he was like, she was like, "There's one helmet left. Which one of you want it?" And he's like, "So there's only one helmet left, potentially to save a life, and it's between me and this guy you don't know."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." And
Which
she's
I
like,
always love that when characters presume that they can keep themselves emotionally disconnected from a situation and they realize that they're in the fucking thick of it. I always love that moment when they realize that. So that was cool to see Garrett kind of break that. But then the big moment is that Amy and Jonah kiss. It was a really good kiss. In terms of first kisses, how many cloud nines would you give the first kiss?
I will give them 4 out of 5 deadly Cloud9 mascots.
Oh, the psycho one, not like the friendly one?
No, not the friend. There's no. Come on. No.
Okay. Sure. Why not 5?
Because they weren't standing up and it was kind of like awkward positioning.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Um,
telling you.
I think it was a great first kiss. I would give it a 5.
Four out of 5 is great. That's a good
I know,
thing.
but that's not, but taking one cloud away because of the positioning, like you
Yes,
that doesn't make
positioning.
sense.
How does that not make sense? You asked me what. I'm not saying it's not a great kiss. It is a
I
great kiss.
know. I'm just saying that in terms of grading it, I don't see how. Well, whatever. You know what? That's your truth, and I respect it, and it's valid. There you go.
Uh, you gotta understand. To me, a 5 um is Pam and what
Jim,
Jim casino night. That's a fucking first kiss. That's a 5. So if that's a
Ben and
5,
Leslie's kiss is a 5 too.
fuck them. So that's a 5. So if we're gonna go Pam and Jim at 5, really we're gonna give. I mean, again, I love them as a couple. These two people belong together.
No,
That's
I,
great.
I,
I'm just,
I.
I'm just rating first kiss to
Okay,
you know.
I respect your opinion. I would give it a 5 because I think they did a great build up to it.
Oh, the build was great. I'm
The
telling you, it was.
circumstances
Yeah.
were perfect for it, where they didn't really fuck it up. Like they weren't stepping completely out of line. Yes, she's still married, yet, but separated. But um, I don't know.
I can I just tell you that afterwards, when the whole thing was over, and then she goes to with her family, and Jonah's really pretty much by himself, and he looks around, and then he tells Marcus like, "So we're going to breakfast or something? We're gonna like, yeah, let's go get drinks." He's like so happy. So is this gonna be the core of us? Is this gonna be the core group? Like Marcus is trying to invite himself into the core group, and it's like it's not gonna happen.
I'm surprised that they didn't add a chat in there. But anyway, we end the season with the store completely
Shambles.
destroyed, and a kind of cliffhanger as to what's going to happen next with Amy and Jonah, because even though they have this great first kiss, she's still married.
Technically.
Technically.
So a few things. Favorite vignette? Do you have a favorite vignette?
It is from the Halloween episode. I called you when I was laughing about it. And it's when Myrtle sees the Grim Reaper, and she very gently and lovingly places a hand on him. They just have a moment.
And he freaked out.
And then the guy obviously freaks out. And then I don't know if it's the same vignette, but they cut to it later where like he's running away. He's
He's walking swiftly, and he's a tall dude, so he could, yeah. Yeah.
That's my favorite vignette. My second favorite, I don't know if this is allowed or not, but in the same episode, there's a couple that reaches that for the same hemorrhoid cream at the same time. That's like their meet cute. I think it's hilarious. That's my second favorite.
My favorite of the season was season 2, episode 7. Customer is shopping as Kyle the Cloud 9 with blood in his mouth. That's so funny to me. It's a callback to what happened previously. It was so good.
Cannibalism caused by marijuana.
Because that strand of pot that makes you eat humans.
Yeah, it's called cannibalism.
Yeah.
That strand is called cannibal.
Cannabis, because the cannibal. I like
yep.
So, favorite character of the season.
Of this season, I think I want to give it to Mateo. I'm gonna give it to Mateo. I think he has a lot of growth, and I love the whole his whole like build up is fantastic. So love him. You?
I ride with Sandra, man. I ride with Sandra. Everything from the girls' night. I ride. Or is that season 2 or 3?
No, no, ladies' lunch.
Ladies' lunch.
It ladies' lunch? Ladies' lunch. Yes, that's yes, that was amidst.
That's right. Yeah. She goes and she finds the guy that she likes, that she hits it off with at Cheyenne's wedding, and that's where they meet originally. Is that? And then she's like, "Oh, I don't have a boyfriend." And then she's like, "Aren't you dating Jeff?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. So she fucks that up. But yeah, Jerry is his name.
Jerry.
She meets Jerry at the ladies' lunch. But that whole ladies' lunch was also a great episode. Notable. I know we're hitting the hour mark, but that was another great episode because they really gave um the characters broke off the characters where they had time to kind of build a bond, which I think is necessary and justifies a lot of where the show goes off. So love
I
this show.
agree.
Love this show.
Yes. So we talked about favorite episodes, favorite vignettes, favorite characters. What would you rate the season? You said
How
10 out of
many?
10, right?
Yeah, I
So
would give it 10 out of 10.
yeah.
I'm going to probably like this is probably going to be a show that I go back and like start using as like, a background show because it's just so funny. And I had really forgotten how much I enjoyed it when I was watching it. But it's great. I love these characters. And I'm going to New York in a couple of weeks and Times Square has a NBC store and I will be stocking up on Cloud9 merch.
I try to find a Cloud9 vest for a Halloween costume, and I couldn't.
You would make that's your Garrett Halloween costume for the
Yes,
rest of your life.
correct. I was
I
like,
will search for one for you,
but
BFF.
it was it. I mean,
Unless
yeah,
it's more than $40, then I'm sorry.
I will search high water. I'm not gonna get it, but I will search for it.
If it's more than $40, nope.
But yeah, Sandra's my character this season. Her crazy ass thing with Jerry, I think it's fantastic. Just to get noticed and then get attention, and it was fantastic.
No, it was Jeff and then
Jeff,
Jerry.
sorry. But Jeff is a great character too in this season. And at Cheyenne's wedding, he was like, "Oh no!" He's like, "Oh, I thought you would be mad." And he's like, "No, fuck you. I hate you.
Yeah.
Not you, baby. You're the best. Fuck you. I hate you."
No,
And
I
he
do
was
feel
finger.
bad.
It was great.
That I do
But the
feel
fact
bad
that how he was telling the baby, "I love you," and then "I hate you" to Mateo, like, "I hate you. I love you. Hate
because
you."
we knew it wasn't. He doesn't really hate him. He's just
No,
made.
of course not. But I loved that. That was great. That was funny.
That was a great contrast of like he's spewing these awful things to him while holding the baby, and he's like, "Don't worry, it's not for you. It's for the guy for the guy I'm about to hand you off to, and fucking leave." Yeah, yeah, but Mateo holds my heart for this season. Love him.
Okay. All right. So that's season 2 of NBC's Superstore. Thank you for checking us out. If you're listening to the audio version of this, as most of you usually do, make sure you check out our Facebook and our YouTube pages. The YouTube is different than Seasons. Everything else, social media, Seasons TV Pod, everything. Seasons TV Pod on Instagram, on Twitter, Seasons TV Pod on Facebook, Seasons with an S TV Pod. The YouTube, however, is YouTubing to the Geek Bro Network YouTube. So go to Geek Bro Network. That's where we're gonna put all the Geek Bro YouTubes are gonna be united under one umbrella, so that you could find us wherever. With that said, thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check out Missy's Instagram at Missy the Writer. Mine is at Nary Signs. Make sure to go to whatwashisname.com. Check out my comedy on there. Try to follow me on Instagram and try to get as many Instagram followers as possible. Trying to grow that. Thank you very much, and we'll continue watching the show. We're gonna be doing episode 3 soon, probably in a week or two. So thank you guys for checking us out. Appreciate that. Have a good one.
Bye.